Hey, what's up guys? Roger here with the Real Breakdown. Literally just walked out of the AMC theaters from watching Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness. And I have a lot to say about this movie. Obviously guys, I'm not going to give away spoilers. And guys, let's just get right into it. I have to say, this is probably my least favorite Marvel movie, at least watching it the first time, right? This movie was a huge disappointment for me. I'm so sad to say. I really wanted to love this movie. Doctor Strange has always been one of my favorite characters. Unfortunately, though, this movie was just not good in my eyes. It had great moments. It had awesome scenes in it, awesome things that happened. But overall, as a film, guys, it was not a great movie. I have to say, one of the biggest issues right off the beginning for me is the CGI. Now, there's two things that I have issues with in this movie, one of them being the CGI. I will say that at the beginning of the movie, the CGI starts out pretty bad. As the movie goes through, it gets better, and you can see that they saved the better CGI for some of the bigger scenes and the bigger set pieces. So that was one of those things where it started out really bad, like to the point where that first kind of action sequence, you can tell it's green screen. You can tell that people are green screen. Like, I mean, I don't want to say it's like, you know, the Scorpion King bad, but like it for Marvel and for that Marvel standard, it was very noticeable and it was very bad. I mean, I would even say that some of the Disney Plus shows have better CGI. That's how bad it was. The other thing that really bugged me about this movie is the storyline, the plot, and the script. The storyline on this was actually pretty bad, and I actually think that it started pretty good. Like the storyline at the beginning and how the story gets, you know, set up, and the characters that we meet and the scenarios that we get put into is good. And I'm like, okay, I see where they're going. I totally get what's going on here. But as the movie goes on, the plot, like the storyline, just gets more and more ridiculous. Things start to not make sense. Like, it does the biggest thing that annoys me the most with any sort of like superhero or fantastical movie or story is that it stops explaining why things are happening. Like, things just conveniently start happening and you start questioning, like, okay, well, why is this the reason that this is happening? Well, how do we know that this? And like, guys, I don't know, the plot and the story I was okay with at first. As the movie went on, to me, it just got more and more ridiculous. I'll leave it at that. The other thing, guys, that I did not think I would be saying tonight coming out of this, unfortunately, is that Sam Raimi should not have directed this movie. I'm sorry, guys. I love Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, and then even Spider-Man 3 I actually like. You know, I grew up with them, but I haven't seen a lot of his other work, like some of his horror films. But, you know, obviously seeing what he did with Spider-Man, I thought, you know what? He's great, and, you know, he's beloved by fans, so why not bring him back, right? And, guys, his filmmaking style and the way that he selects shots and the things that he did were such a detraction to this movie and its story. Like, some of my complaints that I have about the story honestly also tie in with the directing, and I'm talking about like the choice of, like, you know, shots, the choice of like what perspective we're seeing things, the choice, and those little things that you might think, well, okay, so just because the camera angle is like different or weird, why does that ruin the movie? Because it takes you out of it, because it really does make certain scenes feel so cheesy. Some lines are so predictable, and some things are just, I don't know how else to say it, but you can definitely feel that this movie was filmed a certain way, and I just did not vibe with it at all. I think it did not help this movie at all. It made it a lot weirder and a lot, like, I don't even know how to describe it other than like it just didn't fit. Like, Sam Raimi directing Doctor Strange didn't fit in my eyes, my opinion, guys. And once again, this is me after watching it the first time. I will see it a second time, but man, I have to say, I was very much disappointed with the writing, the CGI, the directing. Like so much of this was just not up to Marvel par. And once again, guys, I'm walking out of this and I'm like, this might be my least favorite Marvel movie that I've seen, at least first time viewing. And I would have never thought that I would have said that. I was so hyped for this. Doctor Strange has become one of my favorite characters, right? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say that, you know, he was my favorite childhood superhero. No, like, that belongs to Spider-Man. But I mean, another thing too that I mentioned, Spider-Man, right? Like, I had some issues with Spider-Man because of the writing and certain things that they did with characters. But at the end of the day, I really liked that movie because it had, you know, the cameos, it had the surprises, it had the things that make me love Spider-Man, right? And so at the end of the day, I really like that movie. This movie now shows that you cannot just rely on surprises. You cannot just rely on, you know, like little Easter eggs and things to make a movie good. You have to have a good script. You have to have good directing. You got to have good CGI. Like, I honestly, guys, walking out of this, I feel like Marvel really dropped the ball, and I cannot believe I'm saying that. Like this is the first time I'm walking out of a Marvel movie, other than maybe Guardians. But like at the end of the day, I rewatched Guardians and I liked it. Right? I'm just at a loss for words at like how much I did not enjoy this film, guys, and it really breaks my heart to say this because you know Sam Raimi, love him for all the Spider-Man movies. Doctor Strange, been loving that character. You know, Wanda was in this. You know, WandaVision was great, and I loved that. And oh my gosh, I just feel like this movie was such a huge miss. Now, I will say there are a few things that are great in this. I'm not going to go into details. I cannot. But there are some great things in this movie as far as just scenes and moments that, you know, are going to go down maybe in Marvel history as like really cool things. And there definitely are scenes in this movie that are going to change the MCU going forward. But it did not fix the fact that this movie was not great in my eyes. I mean, I can honestly count maybe in on one hand, maybe like 4-5 scenes that I'm just like, wow, this is awesome. Oh my God, look at what they're doing. The rest of it, guys, honestly, was just all over the place. I'll have more thoughts. I have to see it again, guys. But right now, coming out of the theater, those are my reactions. There are some great things. There are 2 post-credit scenes. I think both of them are pretty good and worth staying. So make sure to stay for that. Guys, honestly, I'm just disappointed. I'm heartbroken, guys. I never thought that I'd be making this video right now, tonight. But that, I gotta be honest, that's where I'm at. And coming off of, you know, Moon Knight, which has been amazing, right? And like that finale kind of, you know, wasn't all the way there for me, but wow, I was not seeing this coming, right? But that's been my initial out of the theater reactions for Doctor Strange 2, guys. Until next time, see ya. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for what's next to come on The Real Breakdown.